What's going on, everyone? I'm back with another video for this week's daily video. If you haven't watched any of the previous ones for this week, I am releasing a video every single day this week for making up for the lack of content that I had on my channel ever since my box openings. Partially because I've been busy, partially because there hasn't been a lot to cover, but I felt like it was time to release some videos. So there's a video coming up every day. I believe this one's going up on Thursday, so there will be 2 more after this, and we'll see if there's any more coming up Sunday, Monday. We'll see how long we can keep this chain going. But anyways, I'm bringing you another deck profile today. So this one is a yellow, green, blue deck profile. It was built with the intent of being a control deck, just like the black, green, blue one that I uploaded on Sunday. And just like that, I feel like this also kind of functions as a mid-range deck. So take that as you will if you were looking to build something similar to this, whether you want to go more controlling with it or more mid-range. It might change some of the cards that you choose. But also, before we get into this deck still needs a lot of work, and it's still in the early stages of testing before I use it at any tournament. So probably in a week or so I'll be doing an updated deck profile as I kind of tweak the cards in here and figure out what really works in this deck and what suits my playstyle, which I think is the most important thing. I mean, if you don't like the way that this deck functions, if you're more of an aggro player, then go ahead and build a deck that suits your needs. If you want, you can check out the mono red video that I uploaded a couple days ago. Should be pretty easy to find, and I can link a description down below as well. But anyways, let's not waste any more time getting into this video. So starting off with the yellow cards, we're playing 2 Rookie Knights. My reasoning for playing this over Elegant Fencer is because of the 2 endurance. Carefree Orc is such a pain, and with a lot of decks running red, a lot of decks that I see running red, I feel like I have to build my decks more around Carefree Orc than anything else, because he can really shut you down early game. So that's why I'm playing this over Elegant Fencer. Plus, this deck does also have enough draw power, in my opinion. I've rarely had a hand of less than 3 or 4 cards, and I don't really need that extra draw. So I actually haven't even drawn into this card yet in testing, but as I do some more, I should see it. But yeah, hasn't hurt me yet. So next up, we're playing 4 Darrions. This is kind of one of the aggressive plays in the deck, summoning Darrion and attacking, and then still being able to protect your fort. And he also has an amazing Fort Burst effect, which can even prolong the game if he is your last fort that is destroyed, letting you set another card from your deck as a barrier, and with the ruling that you can only lose the game at the end of the turn. If he was your last barrier and he's destroyed, his effect will still activate and will prolong the game. So that's just something to note if you're using him or if you go against an opponent using him. It's just something to keep in mind. But this is a really powerful card, and definitely something to pick up if you're playing any type of yellow. Next up, we got 2 Lacrosse Swiftblade. I was playing 4 just because it's a really good counter to Teriel, but I really wanted to play a few other cards as well, so I did bump this down to 2, and it is really nice being able to drag across it and having a 4-hitter. That's another thing that I was having troubles with in this deck. I wasn't having a lot of cards that could break high shields, so that's probably what my focus is going to be, trying to get some stronger, lower cost creatures. But yeah, Lacrosse Swiftblade is definitely a really great card. Next up, we're playing 2 Sanctuary Enforcer. This is the first time I've been testing out this card, and I haven't exactly liked it. Being able to draw 2 cards and discard 1 is nice, getting that extra advantage. So I do think I need to do some more testing with this. However, I do like Merchant of Scrolls better. because it is something you can activate continuously, other than Sanctuary Enforcer, where it's only on the turn that she's summoned. So I feel like you lose a lot of value out of that, when you can play Bountiful Angel for 1 cost more and continuously draw, or play Merchant of Scrolls and get to cycle through your deck every turn. So Merchant of Scrolls will probably be added in place of her if I don't find any spot for Bountiful Angel. But she is definitely a really great card. If you're playing black, I would consider her, just because you can grab back whatever you need with Cavalier. Next up, we're playing 2 Teriels. I've been testing it at 2, and that's been fine for me. This is one of those cards that I don't really like at 4. I feel like it's too cloggy. I would rather be able to play some other stuff, and I feel like with her being one of the best cards that we currently have, I think people are going to be expecting her and are going to have stuff in their deck specifically to counter this. So I think 2 is fine, and I haven't had any issues with that yet. So next up, we got 2 Earthen Guard Golems. He is a really great ambush, just being able to summon himself, block any small attacker that they have. And yeah, he's pretty easy to keep on board with that 5 endurance. Next up, we got 1 Angelica. I would like to bump this up to 2 once I get a second copy. However, I only have 1 right now, so I'm kind of stuck only playing 1. And I haven't seen this card yet in playtesting, but I do think this is a really valuable card in the deck. And then next up, we got 2 Sunscale Dragon. So this is kind of where I feel like this is borderline mid-range deck, is because of the 2 of these. Once you get at least 1 of them out, you're able to break 2 Drago Shields and just push in towards your opponent, but that requires building up your resources, and you kind of want to play him earlier. So, he's okay in a control deck, I guess, but I think mid-range is where he really shines. And he is definitely an amazing card. And also, if you haven't already, go ahead and check out the Dragonborn Weekly, where we talk about all of these yellow cards. And subscribe to Hunter Surge's channel as well. He does release some Dragonborn content. He is mostly buddy fight focused, so if you play that as well, go over there and support him. I will leave a link to the Dragonborn Weekly video down below in the description for you guys to check out if you haven't already. Now moving on to the blue cards. First up, we got 2 Frontier Explorer. I'm playing this for the same reason I'm playing Rookie Knight. It's got the 2 endurance to protect against Carefree Orc, and it also splits the cost. I believe I'm playing 6 total 1-drops, so 2 green, 2 blue, 2 yellow, so that hopefully I'd be able to play a variety of cards rather than my hand clogging with just 1 color. Next up, we got 4 PlayDoh. There is 10 ambushes, I believe, in this deck. So, yes, 10 or 12. Can't exactly count in my head right now, but being able to play him and an ambush first turn is amazing, and being able to play a free ambush on any turn is also amazing. Just if you're running low on resources, he's technically 5 resources for the cost of 3, which is really amazing in my opinion, and just really helps this deck gain advantage over your opponent. I haven't seen a lot of him though, so I might cut him down to 3, but it just depends on how some more playtesting goes. And then for the last of the blue creatures, we got 2-0. This card is amazing. Not being able to be blocked, being able to bounce a creature, it's just got a ton of usefulness, and it just really helps bring the deck together. So then for blue spells, we got 3 Rejuvenates. I might consider bumping this up to 4, just because it does help with resource acceleration, and it's some extra draw power, which is really essential. Being able to get the cards that you need when you need them is pretty huge. And this is probably one of my favorite blue cards, so definitely worth playing in any blue-green deck. Next up, we got 2 Hidden Arts Reverse Thunderstrike. The reason I'm playing this card is to kind of counteract my aggressive plays with 0 and or Sunscale Dragon, just being able to reset them and then take another hit since they both have 7 endurance, which is quite huge. And then you also get to draw a card when you activate this. So just a little bit extra advantage over your opponent never hurts. Then I am also playing 2 EMPs. This is an amazing card. It does win games. I have seen that multiple times. Not in any of my matches so far. I've never lost to this card, and I've never won using this card, but I have witnessed that at locals where an EMP does turn the whole game around. So this is definitely a card worth running in blue. Just being able to rest a whole fort really sets your opponent back. I mean, they're relying on those last 2 defenders typically, and if you can shut those down, then your opponent doesn't have any answers to your final push. So, might consider bumping this up. Not sure if I'd play it at 4 though, just because of the other stuff that I want to play, but it is a really great card. One of the cards that I might take out for it is a single copy of All Guns Blazing. When I had put this deck together and did my final count, I had 49 cards, so I figured I'd just throw in a copy of All Guns Blazing, and I haven't seen it yet, or it has a Fort Burst, so it is a decent card. I do really like this card, but just at 1, I feel like it's not really as valuable to the deck. So that's it for the blue cards. Moving on to green, we've got 2 Falthalas, which is a huge red counter, and also you can drag across it to get up to 5 to break almost any shield that your opponent can throw up. So this is, I believe I said this before, but if you're playing green, you need to play him. So then we also got 4 Fleetwing Sprites, just to help with resource acceleration. Might take one of these out or something else for a Red Fang, just because I said the deck was lacking in heavy hitters, and Red Fang is both a heavy hitter and some resource acceleration early game, so he might be finding a place in this deck, but Fleetwing Sprite is a really good option right now. Then we've also got 4 Kingslayer Bees, and I can finally show off my foil playset if you guys can see that. This is one of my favorite cards, and it is one of the best cards in the game right now, in my opinion. You have to run it at 4. It's just so good. So then I've also got 1 Mistress Bright and 1 Eleanor. It's kind of a weird ratio just because I only have 1 Eleanor. However, I do kind of like having the split between them. I would probably go 2 Eleanor, 1 Mistress Bright though, if I could get another one, just because ambushes are a really key factor in this game, and being able to shut them down is huge. So yeah, definitely worth playing, and I think green is very valuable just because of the ambush removal that it has. Then I've got 1 copy of Remus. This is just kind of the placeholder for the second Angelica, but I mean, since I am playing yellow, his ability is useful, being able to put up another barrier, and also just some more draw power. So he is a really great card, but Angelica, I believe, has a better spot in this deck than him. And then finally we're playing 2 Terrax. Just, this card is too amazing. I mean, being able to drop it for only 4 resources, and then double break a fort, is huge. And then the final card that I'm playing, that will also probably be one of the first ones cut once I kind of revamp this deck, is Leilania's Call. This does allow some interesting plays. I mean, it allows you to spam out more monsters because you can pay lower cost for them from your hand. There was one game in testing where I summoned Eleanor off of this, and was able to use up the rest of my resources to fill the field. So this does have some use. I believe it shines in a deck that's more heavily green though. And I haven't hit it as a fort burst yet, but I know from personal experience that if your opponent is playing red and green, if you hit this as a fort burst and they drop Zarko on you, that is the worst feeling in the world. So, something fun to try if you're playing red-green. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this deck, and let me know what other color combinations you want to see. This was kind of the last deck that I was planning on building, and that I'll be working on. I do still want to do a black-yellow X aggro deck, so that'll probably be one of the next ones to come in the future. Probably not within this next week, maybe 2 weeks from now. But yeah, let me know what you guys want to see, and I will try to get a deck together or do a deck review of that. But as always, be sure to check out Dragoracle and the Facebook page, the International Facebook page. Links to both are down in the description below, as well as follow me on Twitter. We can have some more conversations over there. But as always, thanks for watching.